The reality behind success is made possible thanks to our sponsors.
Kelly on the beat, boy. Kelly on the beat, boy.
Hi, and welcome to the reality behind success. Today we're going to have part one of a two-part episode that we will be sharing a story that most may consider taboo.
Yes.
I am your host, Tanika Dugan, and this is my co-host,
Kester Bramble.
You know, Kester, this is something that is, I think it gets more rampant over the years. In Trinidad, before we will hear myths and we'll hear stories and we'll hear certain things, that our grandmother will tell us.
Yeah,
and you know, and we'll sit down and hear the old people. And we wouldn't believe it, but today we have someone who was a part of the cult and is willing to be open with us and willing to share her story
experience
of getting in and coming out
for so many years.
So this is part one, and make sure and stay tuned for part two. We'll be right back.
Are you coming? Hey, hey. What if you wait? Provocation, that's great. What if you wait? That's right time. Kill time. Beach man. Johnny in the air. Beach man. Stress
Hi, and welcome back to the reality behind success. Today our guest is Saphire Carter. Saphire, welcome to the reality behind success.
Yes, welcome.
We're excited to have you here because of this that you're about to share. Some may think it is unrealistic. Some may hear about it like a myth. Some may feel it's taboo because we don't think it actually exists, especially in Trinidad. We will watch other parts of the world, especially Africa, and think that these things happen there. Or you will hear people say certain things happening and people do this and people do it, but they don't think it.
Unaware.
They don't think it's real.
Yes, it's actually happening right now.
Yeah. So, Saphire, I would like for you to share how you started and what took place with you within the cult and what drew you to that.
Okay, at the age of 20 years old, I was quite worn out. I was tired because I came from a broken home. I was depressed. One day on my way to work, I turned around and I said, I'm just going to go to Vesely Beach. I'm going to go breeze out some bits. And while I was there, I saw a group of people, a congregation of people. They were gathered and ready to baptize people. I went in because the rain came down. I had no choice. And, you know, they started coming on to me with the gospel and whatnot. And I went in and I listened to them. I quickly grew attached to them. I saw the way they spoke about God and everything. Very charismatic, you know.
Yeah.
And I got baptized that same day.
Okay.
I got baptized that same day and I followed steadfastly after. I continued going to church. I didn't miss a service for 10 years. I didn't miss a service, you know, and let us say the 3rd of December of last year I left, and that is when my eyes was open to realize that it was a cult that I was in. Should I go into details on the things that...
I want you to tell us though, when did you start recognizing? Because I know when you're in something, you must know that something different about this. Yes. They might say God, but something was different. What brought you to that realization?
And how long after into this cult did you realize that it was actually a cult?
Well, after the first year or so, I saw a lot of things that were strange, a lot of things that were uncommon and not becoming of church people.
Okay.
You know, but by then I was so terrified, I was completely scared because the leaders of the organization, the authorities would say that the people that are in that organization were appointed unto death. And me having a couple of near-death experiences, should I say,
Yeah.
I was terrified. I was terrified that if I went back out there, I would die.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And I would tell my mom about it, and my mom would say, look, we didn't come here to turn stone. Leave them people alone and come, you know?
Yeah.
And I was scared to leave. I was very, very scared because at the same time, the authorities had said, well, in that organization, we'll have a prophetic ministry, it will have regular pastoral ministries, and the prophetic authorities had said that God has appointed a man, a particular young man to me, to be my husband.
Okay.
And a lot of things that were prophesied had been coming to pass, you know.
Okay.
And by then I had not known things like, you know, many would say I prophesied in your name, or many would say I healed in your name. So I believed,
Yeah.
you know, that. And while I was there, I broke up with the guy. There's a lot of matchmaking in the organization.
Okay.
The leadership would say things like, this is the man for you to this young lady. And a lot of that happened, even in Point 14.
Yeah.
A lot of people were married, and there are a lot of marriages that are fused together because the leadership will say God said.
All right.
And
Yes.
the marriages are quickly broken when either of these spouses are angry with the authorities. And that is what happened to me. I got married, you know. I broke it off, and then they came back again with proposals and whatnot. And
Okay.
I was scared, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was scared to go back out into the world, should I say, because they provided what appeared to be a safe haven for us.
you.
You know? And
But
that's what
what
it looked
in
like.
this organization, because like nothing said so far will make it appear to be that it's a cult, because you go
Yeah.
to somewhere and they say
Yeah, everything's similar
everything's so similar to the
normal
original thing.
organization.
You understand?
Yeah.
So what you started to see that was different, that was abnormal, that make you even think that, hey, this is wrong or this is
Yeah.
different?
One day, I got into an altercation in a vehicle because we were made to do a lot of sales of the leadership's goods, or like the leadership had properties, lands, and we would plant oranges, porticas. We were made to do a lot of sales towards these things, selling them on the highway for him, for the leadership, but for the authorities. We were made to do a lot of these things. And one day I was on my way home and I got into an altercation. The young man said, you're still doing things for this cult, for these cult people. And when people said cult, I was like, no, it's a church, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, that night I called my husband and I told him, I said, you know, this guy just accosted me, threatened me, and the guy threw some water on me, something of that sort. And I told him, and I do not know how the leadership and the organization got the guy that assaulted me. I do not know how they got his address. They went to the guy's home. I was there. Police officers from the organization went along on that run as well to the guy's home. They threatened the guy, telling the guy come out of his house. They wanted to beat him in there. And the guy called the police, but we left. The guy called the organization the following day, saying, well, you know, he probably thought I did it. I did not do that. It happened so fast.
Yeah.
You know, he probably thought I did it. So he called the organization asking the leadership to have me back down from assaulting him or whatever they were thinking that I would have been doing.
Yeah.
And the leadership said, well, come in and let's have a chat. The guy came in to chat with the leadership, and the leadership pretended to know nothing of what they did that night, the night before. The leadership sat down there and they started speaking to the guy. They told him, well, why is it that you will think that she would bring someone to your house? Why would she bring someone to your home to hurt you? The guy began to say, the guy said, well, I met her in a vehicle and we had a disagreement. So the leadership again asked the guy, what was the disagreement? Well, just like that. And the guy was like, well, I did throw a drink on her, you know? And leadership was like, oh, well, young man, you know, you need to give your life to Jesus. You know, you need to transform your life and you need to apologize to the young lady. Would you like someone to do that to your mother or to your sister and whatever? And the leadership completely ignored the fact that they took the people to the guy's house. The leadership invited the guy to church thereafter, tell him, keep coming, come. If she did that, he had to tell you that she wouldn't do it again. You know, so he had it thrown on me as if I was the one that did that to the guy. You know?
Okay. And like, okay, I understand all that, but I know it have more in depth from what you were telling us about the bonfires and about writing names. I want you to explain it a little more, but I'm just saying about writing names of your enemy and putting it in the bonfire in order for them to die. You want to explain that?
Well, a bonfire would be a very tall stack of material to be burned down, right? Like old wood and tires and a whole lot of stuff to burn down. The leadership will organize this bonfire. We will go to the bonfire and the leadership will say, walk with the names of your enemies on a paper, walk with whatever bills you have, whatever debts, anybody giving you trouble, walk with it, throw it in the fire, and then they will pray death and damnation upon that person. Then there would be other times like they will have prayer meetings. Well, they called it prayer meetings. Only in December, when I left, I realized it was charismatic witchcraft. Okay. They will have these prayer meetings where the leadership will pray for their wives to die, their ex-wives to die. The leadership will pray for their enemies to die, for people to die, and anyone that doesn't agree with the leadership must die. Also, I could recall the congregation being given a prayer list with not only the deaths of many of the enemies, but also an earthquake. The leadership had prophesied that an earthquake would come to Trinidad and Tobago and that many will die, that a lot of people will die in Trinidad and Tobago. And on that prayer list, it was the actual request was that pray for the earthquake to come so that the leadership's word would not fall on dry ground. And I realized on the 3rd of December of last 2015, I realized that looking at the prayer list, just before I left, I said this couldn't be God. If we are praying for the leadership's word and not God's word, it's not God saying that an earthquake will come to this nation, you know? That's when you recognize that, hey, I really am in a cult, or you had recognized that because I know you said bring in lists. Is it that you're only praying for who the leadership wants to die, or are you praying for, and if it is that I'm a member, could I bring in my... Yeah, that's it. I could bring in people... Anyone that, any enemies that you have, it becomes the leadership's enemy. Any enemies that the leadership have must be your enemy. He must not fraternize with his enemies because he will cut you off or excommunicate you from the church. Excommunication is the act whereby someone is not allowed to communicate with anyone from any church or from within the church, you know, but other churches will look at it as a crazy person excommunicating other people. Okay. You know? You talk about having the bonfires, and it had one point in time that they came to rob the bonfire or something like that. You want to explain about that a little more? Actually, that robbery took place in a church that we had in this same Point 14 area. And someone came in there and they stole some computers and whatnot. And a lot of men, police officers included, other teachers, whatever, they went down to the people's house, beat them up. And this is something, if you leave the organization also, and they want to talk to you and you don't want to come, they were going to come to your house and they're going to be banging on your gate, or they're going to come onto your property, threatening you that if you don't come back, you're going to die. You're going to die a most awful death. You're going to die the most horrific death. I've been threatened throughout this year. If I'm walking on the street and they see me, you know, they'll threaten me and tell you, and sometimes it's people of high standard in society as well, not just common ex-vigilante background people. Okay. You know? All right, let's just take a break and we'll come back with the rest of our story.
and welcome back to the Reality Behind Success. Today we are speaking with Saphire Carter. She is telling us about a cult that she was involved with and certain things that she used to do for us to see that it is real in Trinidad and Tobago, and it is real that we should keep praying up because you don't know who is praying against you and who actually have your name in this fire, right? So let's continue from what we were speaking earlier, and we were talking about the bonfire and as well as the bonfire being robbed, and you all were left there to deal with licks and to deal with that kind of thing.
One time, one of the members, and God had it so that I witnessed when this happened. One of the members provoked somebody from in that area that we were in, and the guys began to become violent towards us. The leadership thereafter were called and told about what was taking place up there. And the leadership sent a vehicle, took their children out, and left the members, children, women, and men, to be beaten up there. There were men on the phone speaking to the leadership, to the leadership on the phone, and saying, "Well, look, right now I'm being planners, you know." And people could have died up there, and the leadership just didn't care. It was like we were just sacrifices up there, left to die up there.
And what were the rituals like being around, seeing that you all were praying for people to die? What would that ritual? I mean, I don't want like word for word, but like what you all used to do? What was the ritual like?
Okay, the leadership taught us to pray, I should say, because that is not prayer, know that I know better.
Yeah.
Right? Taught us to pray in a way that they would say death to, they call another person name, death to them, death and destruction upon them, death to their children, whatever livestock, whatever, they will lose their property, they will they must just end up like nothing. And not only that, they would say, you would turn some people that, there are some people, when, if they heard the leadership real bad, they would say death upon them. Others, they would say they would be a vagrant, you know. They would end up to nothing. That one would get raped or how. They would say things like, that one's a prostitute. Like, for example, when I left the organization, the leadership began to tell the congregation that I was a prostitute. Nevertheless, I was in the leadership's home. I took care of the leadership's children. I was there doing everything. I was on his property, selling his fruits, harvesting, planting, everything,
And I know you also said they used to make you all look at X-rated movies.
Yeah.
As well? You want to explain that as well?
Right. That's right, sure. The leadership loves to watch movies. So when they buy movies, they will bring the movies and say, well, look, give Saphire this movie. So when I began looking at the movie, sometimes it might be an action movie, you never know, but majority of the time it will be X-rated movies. And I would just take it out and I would continue taking care of the children. And when he asked me, well, like, how the movie went, I would be like, look, that was movie, to blend me in so that I wouldn't be,
So, I mean, this is 10 years of your life you dedicated to this organization. Going through this 10 years, talking about these experiences, wishing death on people, at this point in time, didn't you realize, well, okay, this is wrong, this is wrong. I mean, 10 years passed, this is wrong, I should get out now.
Okay, all right. There are other young ladies that were made to look, before I get to that, there was other young ladies that were made to look at these movies, like, they would say, like, I don't want to look at it, and you say, listen, a member's wife was looking at this movie, and as a result of that, let us just see what they're looking at, and they didn't want to be looking at the movies, and
would they get, how would it be? Would it be that it was instructed that you had to, or you were abused if you didn't follow his instruction? How was it like?
Yeah, the consequences.
The leadership would send, like, if they're married, they would send their wives out. And they will have the young ladies sit at home with them to look at the movies, right? If you don't look at the movie with them, they will treat you real bad. They will demote you. If you were a worship leader, you will sit down. You can't be a worship leader anymore. If you were usher, you have to sit down. If you were a minister, you have to sit down. And once you are sitting down, it's like you're walking the walk of shame. Nobody can talk to you. Nobody can't nobody can't interact with you. If they are seen interacting with you, they also will be put to sit down too. They'll be treated real bad, and nobody wants to be treated bad.
You also talk about the tribunal. What is the tribunal within this organization?
A tribunal within this organization happens between the hours of 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. During that time,
So that's when everybody's sleeping, basically.
Yeah.
They really say, you know, long time, and now we'll hear, especially old people saying, between these hours, that's the time the devil up. That's the time the devil,
Yeah, you
that's
should
the
be
time
up
to be
to
praying.
praying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So during 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., wee hours in the morning when everybody's sleeping, this is the time that you all go to trial,
yes,
basically.
Yes. And sometimes it happens like suddenly, like if someone did something that the leadership will deem to be wrong, suddenly everyone will be called out their houses, 12 o'clock to come and go. If not, people will be there in church, and after church, they plan a tribunal for after church. Let's say church finishes 11 o'clock. Sometimes churches finish 3 o'clock and all in the morning, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? And these people will have a little meeting after, and then you still have to wait long, painful hours in a tribunal. And in that tribunal, they will beat you. If they ask you a question, you're not answering, they will come and beat you. If you do something wrong, that they deem to be wrong, they will come and they will slap you up. I even was a victim of that. May I go in more on how I was a victim of it?
Okay, sure. Let us take a break, and we'll be right back. As we said, this is a two-part segment. We will come back next week with the continuation of Saphire's story. Please tune in. I know it is interesting because I can't wait to hear the continuation of this.
More and more.
So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Are you coming? Are you coming? Hey, hey. What if you wait? What if you wait? For vacation, that's great. What if you wait? What if you wait? That's right time. Kill beach bar. Oh, oh. Hand in the air, beach bar. Oh, oh. Stress away. Every
Welcome to the giveaway segment. I'm Ananda.
And I'm Joshua.
And let's see who knows. Hi, would you like to win a prize?
Yeah, sure.
All right, you'll have to answer 3 questions for us in order to win this prize.
Alright, so this is what our answer for now. What is the first 5 books in the Old Testament?
You asked my question that I now start to read the Bible last week.
Could you tell me the first 5 books of the Old Testament?
The first 5 books? Well, no, I can't do that.
You don't want to try?
No, I can't.
What is Trinidad national bird?
The hummingbird.
The what?
National beat,
Bird.
national bird.
Trinidad's national bird.
Hummingbird.
You sure?
Scarlet Ibis.
You sure?
What is that? Some kind of flamingo? I don't know.
Positive.
Which one? Hummingbird?
Yeah, hummingbird.
You sure?
Scarlet Ibis.
You're not sure?
I said something wrong, the Scarlet Ibis.
I really thought you didn't know it. We have 2.
Coquelicot.
What letter in the alphabet is a part of your body? You have to be able to show me that body part. Eh?
What letter of the alphabet is part of my body? A?
The actual letter?
S.
Show me your S.
I wish I could have take off my skin to show you the skeleton.
H? Show me your H.
She's not. I have no H.
Right.
H.
Show me. It had to be something you could show me. Show me your age. Aye. Ah, well, the guy there, boy. They be able to show me. Aye. Ah, the guy. Yeah, boy. I guess I know.
Could you tell me who part the Red Sea?
Moses.
Yay, ding, ding, ding.
My brother Moses.
Can you tell me who part the Red Sea?
Moses.
Obviously, it's. Oh, this is a hard. Nah, joking. Moses.
Selwyn Calder has just won a Caribbean smoothie from Caribbean Smoothie, one protein shake. You got something small because you didn't answer all 3 questions. But thank you, sir. Do enjoy. And something small because you didn't get all 3 questions. But Mr.
Curtis Gabriel.
Mr. Curtis Gabriel won a smoothie courtesy Caribbean Smoothies in Point Fortin.
Mr. Finma just won a free punch from Caribbean Smoothie.
Candice Solomon just won something for you. You have won a $300 makeover from Sasha Cosmetics. Do enjoy. Big ups to Candice.
Welcome back. We just want to say thank you for viewing. This is the first part of our 2-part segment for these 2 episodes with Saphire Carter. We enjoyed the first part of this episode.
Yeah, it was so interesting, informative.
Yeah. I can't
it
wait
was
to hear the
mind-blowing.
rest
Yeah.
of what she have to say and explain to us. Anyway, we still have to thank our sponsors. We just want to thank Clifton Hill Beach Facility for allowing us to use this facility.
And speaking of Clifton Hill, we are having our launch here. We are having a launch and dinner as well as a gospel concert right here on the 27th of August. Come out, support us. If you enjoy our show, we'll have lots more in store for you on that day. Just come out and support. I am sure it would be your money's worth. As well as, if you want to be a part of our show as well, you can upload a message on Facebook. Check out our Facebook site. Look at other people's stories. You can email us at trbs.tt@gmail.com because, a story like this, it's worth being out in the public for a lot of people to know as well. You can contact us for tickets for the show on 750-3573 or 303-2758. So this was part 1 of our 2-part episode. Join us next week as we continue.
The reality behind success was made possible thanks to our sponsors.